But this is kind of another direction in it. I don't know if you remember me talking about values and what we value in life. Basically, I'm going to talk about why we value things and what we value, and really a different aspect of what it is, okay? So don't think, well, I've heard that before, because it's going to be a little bit different. What we value in life, which we know, we are willing to sacrifice things. Y'all know we talked about that. We sacrifice our time, our money, our effort, our mindset, our thoughts. We get consumed by those things that we value, and we anticipate them. Ever something that, like you're going on a vacation and you're just anticipating, you're so excited? Well, usually that's the most exciting part. The vacation's kind of like, or this is over already, or whatever. The getting ready for it seems to be the great time. Is that true to anybody? Let's just prepare and then unpack and stay home. Look at all the money you save. All right, let's go to Joshua 1:8. All righty. It says, this book of the law shall not depart out of thy mouth, but thou shalt meditate therein day and night, that thou shalt mayest observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then thou shalt make thy ways prosperous, and then thou shalt have good success. A couple of words I'm going to play on is meditate, that we meditate our mindset. Y'all know what to do. What are we supposed to do every single day? Thank you. Renew your mind. And by renewing your mind every day, it proves that you are faithful. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. See, Sunday people have no idea what we're even talking about. See, the people that love God, here you are. Exactly. And the key is this. Now that we know that, what is it that we got to do? Be faithful and renew our minds. We can't just know it. We've got to do it. All right? But meditate therein. In other words, I'm thinking about this. I'm meditating on it. It is consuming me. It's my thought life. Let me tell you this. Our internal dialogue does not have to be of the flesh. You hear me? We talk about internal dialogue and we automatically put it, because majority of the time it is the flesh. That thing. But let me tell you, our internal dialogue doesn't just have to be here. It can be here in our heart, and we can meditate on those things of God, not just the things of the flesh. So don't take the word internal dialogue and automatically assume it's something bad. We can have an internal dialogue, and I can have fellowship with Yahweh and have fellowship with you, and it be one of the most spiritual, growing things that you can do. When you have communication and you're meditating and you can share that with one another, that's what part of the ecclesia is, that we can share this with one another. It will build you up. I promise you, you get with someone who is positive about the things of God. They speak about the things of God. They're excited about the things of God. Guess what's going to happen to you? You're going to be able to say, oh man, you could have been in the dumps, but because of, I'm going to use the word value here, and that word value is a broad word. Don't just say value. It's everything, okay? It's our attitude. It's what's important to us. Our value is our priorities. It's a big, big word. So when I say value, don't just think of money. I'm talking about something way much bigger than that, all right? But when we meditate and we can share with one another, I guarantee you this, if I'm with you, somewhere in our conversation, we're going to talk about Yeshua. Now, how many remember years ago, help me, Todd, I'm trying to think what it was that we were doing. I know we were fishing. That was quick. But what was the things that we're supposed to be doing? At a certain time, we would pray. Is that what it was? I thought it was. Yep. Lock loose of some 38, 12 seconds. Here, me and Todd were out there because I don't know if it was we weren't having a Wednesday night or it was something that we were doing during the week. Hey, at this time, do this. This time, do this. So we're out there fishing. Amen. And let me tell you, it wasn't just then. Trust me. We've been out on the boat a whole lot crying because we're the president, vice president of the crybabies. I'm proud of it, baby. Hey, crying. Not sad, but excited. Excited. But here we are crying. So here's that time come. We've been in the truck. It'd be raining. We'd be out hunting. And you're talking about a man of faith. Oh, this guy right here, when it comes to hunting, he's the greatest man of faith I know, because he'll show up his phone and there is a Hurricane Irma coming. It's going to blow around us. Except one time, I was in a tree stand, which is made out of metal, and it was raining, it got real black, and I was blinded for a second and deaf, and I think it stayed that way. Huh? What'd you say? I was like, oh my gosh, and it wasn't too long, I got a text. I think we're going to leave now. So he's got faith, but he ain't stupid. But here we were out there on Loch Loosa, just fishing, having a good time. And buddy, the Spirit of the Lord came. Even out on Loch Loosa, Roger, that's his old fishing grounds or fishing water. And we began to speak things. We began to pray over our wives. We began to pray for the ecclesia. We began to encourage one another, tell each other, hey man, I love you. You know, I love you, man. You know, I'm glad you're part of mine. I'm glad you're part of mine. And here we are out there crying. Not like a bunch of babies, but a bunch of grown men who love one another and who love Yahweh. To me, that's what happened. Let me tell you something. When the Lord comes to me, I either act this way, I'll either get bold and just shout, or I'll begin to weep. Sometimes I'm weeping as I'm shouting or whatever. But because of this, that is valuable to us. I guarantee you there's not many times I've been with you, and sometime, somewhere, God's going to come up in a conversation pretty quick. I don't know if you've ever been around Cheyenne, but the only time he's not talking about God when he says, hey, Pastor Joe, how you doing? And other than that, you know, I done walked off and went and done that and come back and he's still talking, still preaching. But it's because of the value of it. It's the value. It's precious. It's important. I anticipate it. I anticipate coming to church. I anticipate it. I had a guy, there's two guys I'm really trying to reach out to. They work at a store, and I go there a lot, and they think I'm looking at different things, but I'm not. I'm looking at them. And this guy has been asking me to go golfing. And every time he's asked me, I just couldn't. I told him, I said, look, if I go golfing, you're going to have to be the one to find my ball, because I can't even see where I hit it. I can't see 10 feet. So if he goes 10 feet, I'm lost, but probably in the woods. But he asked me this. He said, hey, my girlfriend is going to drop me off at Muni. This was yesterday. Today. Drop me off at 10. She's got a class at 11, and she's done at 12, and I got free 9 holes to go play golf. You want to go? I can't. You know why? I said, let me tell you something about me. I said, I told him basically who I was, what I do, what I'm all about, what's valuable, what I'm passionate about. I said, even more than this, I'm way more passionate about this. I'm more passionate about this than even that. But that's included in what I do. All right? But I said, I preach on Wednesday nights. And I said, I make sure I don't do anything that distracts me, that gets me out of my mindset. I said, when I get up on Wednesday, I want my mind to be right. I want my heart to be right. I don't want any distractions. I will go eat, but I'm not going to go off and play golf. And he was like, man, so it was an opportunity for me to share a bunch of things because it's valuable to me, and it comes right out of my mouth. I can't help it. I can't help it. It's valuable. I've meditated on it. Watch this. It'll make thy way prosperous, and thou shalt have good success. That word success, I'm gonna talk about a little bit. But here we go. What we value, what I value, what you value, affects our life. What you really value will affect your life. Don't think that it doesn't. It can't even control, Wendy, We're believing God with you. I'm not laughing. We're believing God for you tomorrow. Hear me? We've already agreed that He's going before you, prepare a way, favor His will in the whole thing. All right? If you didn't show up tonight, you couldn't have that prayer answered. But now that you're here, you're good. I wanted you to know that. You weren't standing behind that wall the whole time we were doing that, were you? Okay. All right. Watch this. It will even, what we value will affect us, and it will even control us. You ever seen the commercial where the guy's wanting to go do something? He's like dancing or something. He looks at this girl, and all of a sudden, get outside. Come on. Stop what you're doing and get outside. And he goes outside, and it's a cigarette that's making him do it. It's kind of the same way. It will control us. What we value will affect us, and it will control us. Here's one of the ways. You ready for this? Stress. Now, this isn't psychology, but I'm just telling you facts. Stress. Because if our values are wrong, because we're going to have values, one way or the other. They're either godly or they can be ungodly or they can be just natural or whatever. We're going to have values. But listen to this. When we stress out on values that aren't right, listen to this. We're always concerned about not getting what's valuable to us. Because what we read first, we'll sacrifice time, money, effort, mindset, thoughts. It'll consume us and we'll anticipate it. It'll stress us out. Or here's you one. How am I going to obtain what I value? We'll go in debt to get what we value. Phil saying, no, don't matter how much it costs, just tell me how much it is a month. And it's in there somewhere, it must be God. How are we going to obtain what we value? Wrong values bring stress and unfulfillment. We do. How many wanted that thing so bad? It's a little vacation thing we were talking about. We're all excited about getting a vacation. We go and we do it in our own might and miss God because we value things that He's not even about. And all of a sudden, when we have to make that payment, or you ever heard buyer's remorse? Oh man, I don't think I should have got that. Well, you should have thought about that 30 minutes ago before you signed the line. But it will unfulfill us because the only thing that will fulfill us is Yahweh. His word and His will and His spirit, His ruah. That is the only thing that will fulfill us. Now, y'all know I'm not talking about you can't have things. But I'm talking about when we're willing to sacrifice things from our family, things from the ecclesia, things from Yahweh, our friend, whatever it may be, to get that thing that is valuable to us. It becomes wrong. And let me tell you something. And if God ain't blessing us, there's stress on it. Oh man, how am I going to make this payment now? Because I didn't know that my washing machine and dryer was going to mess up. My gosh. What am I going to do? I'm going to pay for that. So values is important to us, but if it's bad values, we'll stress it out. Let me tell you what a godly value would do. There shouldn't be stress. Because it's according to His will, we are to obey. And what will He do? We're to obey. We're responsible to obey. What is He responsible for? The result. All right, two of y'all will get an A. The result. All right? We've been trying to do things, value of our own and value of the flesh, so we don't forget about the result because don't worry about God. I got it. I'll take care of it. What would happen if we were at a place in our life that we value things that all we did was trust God with the result of it? I'm going to just trust God. That means I won't ever get anything. Well, it may be you won't get what you want and things of the flesh that may distract you from what God's wanting. Okay? Again, I'm not talking about not having things. I'm talking about when we have things and it costs us against what God is and who He is. Okay? I'm not saying you can't have things, all right? But if you do want to get rid of everything, there's a yard sale coming up. Is it Saturday? Saturday. All right? Here's you another one. That was stress. Here's you another one. Success. What we value could bring success. Listen to this. Even if it is a wrong value, it will still bring success. Because let me tell you, we think that success is one thing when really success is something totally different. I wrote a thing down here. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can go to it to say exactly what it is. I'll get to it. I don't want to jump. I got this whole thing full of things I did for this Wednesday night. So, the Lord must have took some of those pages away. Your prayers were answered. Your prayers were answered. Disappearing ink. But I know it in my heart, so look out. Look, we can be successful in the wrong things. And think that, wow, look at me. Here we go. Every decision, say every decision. Every decision. I can't hear you. Every decision. Every decision. Good. We make is filtered through our values. Think about it. Think about one decision that we have made. I'm not saying you, I'm saying we. I'm not throwing you under the bus. I'm under the bus and I say, hey, some of y'all come under here with me. I'm lonely. Hey, every decision we make is filtered through our values. Or we would make the decision to reject or to receive. It's according to our values. Again, we're going to have values. There's nothing wrong with values unless they're this. You understand? Not all values are bad. We're going to have values. Face it, it's going to happen. It's part of life. Right values will lead to growth and true success and maturity. Wrong values will lead to growth and success, but they'll be all in the wrong places. How many know we can grow and have quote-unquote success and mature in areas that have nothing to do with God? I'm one of the most mature sinners in the world. I'm not saying I am. I probably was at one time, that one day. But let me tell you, we can mature in the wrong things. Let me tell you something. We can drink Jack Daniels and throw up the first time, but if it's valuable to us and we want to look cool because we were told it's cool, we can come real mature at drinking Jack Daniels. How do I know that? I'm drinking a fifth now instead of a thimble. So we can mature in ungodly things. We can mature in things that are wrong. We can have success in those things because my value is that. So I'm skipping to this part. I can't help it, but I'm going to just say it. Success is when we get to a place that we have fulfilled our values. Godly or ungodly. If that's my value, and it's important to me, then I'm successful if I live a life to where I can obtain or be that value that I've called and I've wanted. That's success, but that doesn't mean it's the right success. Let me tell you something. The world is teaching every day, telling us what true success is. And they're wrong. We'll get in that in a minute. Okay. Stress, success. Here's another one. Our values will absolutely affect us getting a well done. It'll affect it. Because depending on what our value is depending on whether we get a well done or depart from me. Don't think that there's a difference. Because that value is what is really, really, really in here. I know I'm not talking about heart, but our heart, who we really are, what we really are. When everything is said and done, who we really are, that's the things that we value. We've always said this. Who we are is when we're by ourselves in the dark and we think no one sees us. That's who we really are. And that's who we got to deal with. Successful. I'm successful. I'm financially successful. I'm socially successful. But I'm bankrupt to the things of Yahweh. I'm a complete failure. I can be successful in all the things I do. Hey, look at this, look at here, look at here. But if I'm bankrupt when it comes to the things of God, according to His Word, His will, I am a failure. But I'm still successful in this. There's a success in wrong. Look at businessmen. They're successful. But what good is it? They're successful in something that ain't going to amount to a hill of beans. They can come to your neighborhood and rob everything you got. Think about it. Go to Matthew 16:26, if you would. Y'all know the scripture. For what is a man profited if he what? Gains the whole stinking world. What does it profit him? What profit is it if he's successful? His value, he lived a life to where he was successful and he obtained and completed all of his values. But what's it profit him if he gains the whole world? And do what? Lose his own soul. All the effort, money, time, things that I put into this to get what I want. I played the stocks. I've won. Not me. I don't even know I don't even know anything about them. But I did all this stuff, put forth all my time, effort, money, all this stuff, my worrying to fulfill and be successful in my value. But God says there's no value in it whatsoever. I want to listen to what God said. Because there's people every day, Apostle Johnny said it Sunday, there's millionaires, people with a lot of money that kill themselves. You know why? They're successful, but not fulfilled. What good is that? What good is that to be successful if it doesn't fulfill us? That's a waste. That was good. Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? I'm willing to give that up. I don't know why I always point this way to well done. I'm willing to give that up for what I value here. These little things that amount to absolutely nothing. This is where I'm going to put all my time, effort, money, and hard work and sweat and tears in. Just right here. Because I can be successful. Here's another one. This is another area where what we value affects our life. It was stress, success, getting well done, and many, many, many more. Okay? Is others. What we value will affect others. Think about that. I'm going to tell you one of the ways that it does. You had a hard day at work. Tired. Everybody was jerks. You thought you was going to get a raise like Doug, but Doug got your raise instead of you. That's because he's been obedient to the word. And you've been having a value of things that don't amount to hill of beans. So you come home busting through the door. This is a bunch of crap! Tell you what, I've done all this stuff. Put forth all this effort. Look at this. Look at it. I'll tell you what. Does that affect anybody else in your house other than yourself? Think about it. Oh, I didn't realize that was so valuable to you. Because if it wasn't valuable, it wouldn't bother you. Think about it. Yeah, that guy took $1 from me. Well, you got $300 billion in the bank. Oh, yeah. Hey, because we value I want everything to go my way at work. It ain't going to happen. And guess, I understand how to deal with it. I understand that suke man, that soulish man, that flesh man is going to rise up and get his way. But not in this house, because what are we going to do every day? Renew our mind, baby. We're going to renew our mind. And we're going to be faithful to what God said. I don't care how I feel. I don't care how my circumstances are. What does God say? God says this, everything you put your hand to shall prosper. But if we have the wrong values, it's going to prosper, and we're going to reap exactly the things that we have sown. We reap to the flesh, we will, if we sow to the flesh, we will reap the flesh. Don't think any other way about it. You can't change that law. It's impossible. It's like the guy said, that's an apple tree. Well, sir, it's got oranges on it. I know, but I put an apple seed in the ground. No, you didn't. Well, that's what the package said. Well, somebody's put the wrong seed in that package. All right? What we do, our attitude, what's valuable to us will affect somebody else. Because if our value is to be like Yeshua and be Christ-like, be led of His Spirit, this will be our attitude. Hey, baby, man, work was crazy, but you know what? Coming home to you makes everything worthwhile. Let me tell you something, guys. Boo! You don't think that's going to affect? You don't think that's going to affect that lady? Oh, yeah. She's going to say, hey. That guy done made me mad, though. You done ruined it. Hey, it affects both ways, guys. Ladies, guess what? When we come home from work, we're tired, sweating, had a bad day, somebody may have to step up and be the godly person and say, can't nobody make my baby have a bad day. You're the king. You're the man. Encourage them. Even you got to lie a little bit in faith. All right? In faith. You know, there's a word that we've always said, what is it? Fake it till you make it. Here's your one. Faith it till you make it. I'm not faking it. I'm walking in faith. It may not look like it, but I see the end result. That's what we got. That is our value. The end result. God ain't done with you yet. Don't throw in the towel and say, I can't do that. I can't handle that. We're going to have our values on the things of God. And I promise you, when we do that, if we've got a bad attitude, it'll change. You hear me? I'll tell you this. If we really trust in God with everything, I mean really, and we're not worried about the things of this world and all the riches and all these other things that we gain the whole world, lose on, so we won't have that attitude. We won't have to change. We won't have it. Now, I'm really stepping out there. I'm faith in it. I believe everything you said, Pastor Joel, until you got to that point. I'm shutting you down now. I believe it, though. Bad day at work. Do we put that much value in how our day went or circumstance that we're going through that it dictates our mood, our emotion, and even our attitude? Is that thing that strong in our life? Do we value that so much? Do we value that so much that if it ain't my way, then I'm ready to take somebody's head off? God forbid someone who accidentally pulls out on us on a road. You know how they do? They come out real fast and almost stop. When that guy had a bad day and he didn't have the Spirit of Yahweh in him, you see what happens. Watch the news for 5 minutes. Turn on Fox, whatever it is, my Fox Orlando for about 5 minutes. Road rage, shooting, pulling over, beating. I mean, it's crazy. But we can't be that way. All right, you ready? We got those. Those are some values that affects our life. And those are just some areas. There's a ton more of them. But those are some that pretty much hit home because, let me tell you something. Stress is probably the number one killer of people. One way or the other. I mean, they might say, oh, you died of stress. No, you never had a heart attack or whatever it may be. It's stress. All right, now we're going to talk about source of our values. Here we go. Where are we getting our values from? Who's giving you the values that you have, that I have, that we have? Who's giving you those values? Where'd you get them from? Why do you think the way you think? A lot of sources. A whole lot of ungodly sources. This is a vital in our walk because the source of our value, listen to this, will determine the quality, godly or flesh, of our values. Who's got our ear? Who's that person that can say something and just get you in a bad mood like that? I'm not going to put that much value on them. I've told people this for years. You mean to tell me you gave that guy so much authority that he dictates how you're going to live your life for a minute, an hour, the whole day? Look, we've dealt with people that would not talk to their spouse for a month. Not anymore. We put a gun on them, told them they had to leave. Wouldn't talk for months and would talk to each other. Go tell your mother that this needs to be done. Mommy, Daddy said this needs to be done. Well, let me tell you something. You go tell your daddy. This poor baby's like, then they wonder why this baby has issues growing up. My gosh, it had to be the mature one in the family at age 6. You would have just recorded it. Here, I'm gonna send you a voicemail that's got the voice in here. This is what he said. Okay, email it back to him. Jeez, come on. The source of our values will determine the quality, godly or ungodly, of our values. Some sources. You ready? TV. Tell you something. TV's fine. There's some things that's, I like watching. But some of the things that comes across there now, when I was a little boy, when I was in high school, I'm not that old, I'm 54. Be 55 in May. I want that senior discount so bad. They keep raising it every year. Some of the things that come on is X-rated. And guess what? We put our value so much on TV, and here's a good one, and in comedy. And we've said this many times, just because it's funny, don't make it right. What we need to do is go back to like Don Rickles and Red Skelton and the people who are really funny. And didn't have to be nasty or dirty or anything else to get a joke. That's real comedians. But we put our value on all these people now that, what? TV. The Maury Povich Show. You are not the father. Woo! Woo! Did Yeshua come in the room? What happened? I told you. I told you. My gosh. Think about it. Think about it. And in an indirect way, not really a direct way, we're putting value on that because that's a channel that we're watching. You hear me? And I know there ain't a whole lot of choice because you can't watch Christian TV. You see, maybe it ain't so bad after all. You know what I'm saying? We got to watch who's our source. We got to watch who's giving us our values. Because let me tell you something. Our values will trickle right down. And next thing you know, oh my gosh, that's me. Ugh. We got to nip it now. Our parents are sources. And let me tell you, TV can be good. It ain't all bad. Our parents can be good. They're not all bad. They're not all bad. Here's your one, the internet. Internet is a great thing, but it is a horrible, horrible thing. Information on it, I mean, wow, look what it can do. It's crazy. If you don't know something, just put Google and there it is. You ain't got to look it up. That's why people have these encyclopedias. I'm like, is that like a display, or is that one of those books you got together, you open up, there's a gun, rifle in it or something, it's not real. You know, what is that? You just hit it. Great thing, but let me tell you something, Ecclesia. It could be the very thing that destroys your marriage. It could be the very thing that destroys you getting a well done. It could be the very thing that destroys you in this ecclesia. Source. What do we put value on? Again, I'm not saying you can't watch TV. But I'm saying when it comes to especially the internet, we better be careful. Let me tell you something. If you've got a laptop, let me tell you where to watch that laptop at. Right there in the middle of everybody else in the room. You better nip it. Don't you go in there and you're secret there, well, I'm not feeling good. Let me lay down for a few minutes. Because let me tell you something. It will get you. It will destroy you. And guess what, guys? I'm talking just as much for the ladies. Because nowadays, they're worse than we are. Right, ladies? Y'all didn't shout me down on that one. Here we go. TV, parents, internet. Here's this one. I hope I don't get struck by lightning. Facebook. Facebook. How many have woken up in the middle of the night and your back of your neck's hurting some? Let me tell you where that's from. That's what it's from. Especially me, because I can't see much further than that. So I'm like this. Danny makes fun of me sometimes. I'm up there. I got a Bible thing. I'm not up there playing games and let you hear. Let you hear that I'm playing games up there. But I got a Bible thing, and it's not very big, so I'm like, that's true. It's like this. This is my screen. This is my screen, and it's like this. So, but let me tell you, it's a great tool. But let me tell you something. It can be a horrible tool because it will consume us. Hey, man, did you see that video? Hey, man, did you see that video? Hey, man, you see that video? Hey, man. Next thing you know, everybody in your family is saying, all right, good night. What do you mean good night? Well, it's 11:30. It's 11:30. I didn't watch so-and-so on TV. No, you were doing this. Taking an hour to send a message to, hey, did you see that video? Let me tell you this. Even in that, what I'll do, I'll watch like YouTube, like bands and stuff play, music and stuff. And so they'll be playing or something. And right in the middle of them playing, have you ever used Dial soap before? Let me tell you what it does. There's a commercial in the middle of a video. That's another way of getting our values. Hey, you need to buy this. You need to buy this. And that's part of where I'm headed here. Facebook or music. Some of our music influences us. But I left it in my office. I was going to bring a book out here. Most of you guys who fish know that there's an angler book, like at Miller's Boat and all these other places. It's a big book. And I like because it's got little articles about House of Fishing, Steenhatchee and Crystal River and all this stuff. But that's the only thing. That and pictures. And the pictures is for advertisement. It's got 1 million pages of advertisement and probably about 4 that's actual in an article. It's kind of like a golf magazine. They'll send it to your house. 80% off what it costs for you to drive your gas to get it at the store. You know why? Because you got to buy the next new thing. Because that one ain't good enough. You know why? Because people have dictated what we're supposed to see what's valuable to us, not us. What am I supposed to like? What am I supposed to do? What clothes am I supposed to wear? How am I supposed to do this? Let me go on. You ready for this? I did this math myself, and I'm like, what am I, stupid? I got this phone right here. I could have just went to Google and figured all this out, but I didn't. I did all the math. So I did go back to Google and check a couple of them, and they're right. Okay? My calculator was right. Listen to this. Nielsen ratings, you know what it is, you know what you watch on TV, says in 2014, the average American, this is average, there was some less, but there was a whole lot more. The average American watches more than 5 hours of TV every day. More than that, but it's an average of 5 hours. 1 hour, they use the internet on the computer every single day. 1 hour, 7 minutes on smartphones. Which ain't smart because let me tell you something. This is from experience. When you say something, don't you just mash send. You'll cuss somebody out and not even know it. Well, I thought you was my friend. What? You called me this and that and the other. I'm like, what? And I look back there. I said, there is a devil. It's in my smartphone, my dumb phone. 1 hour, 7 minutes on smartphones. Listen to this. 2 hours and 46 minutes listening to the radio. Think of that. I was like shocked by night. What? Listen to this. That's 1,000. I was going to bring the board up here and write on it, but I didn't want to waste your time. 1,825 hours a year the average American watches TV. 365 hours on the internet on a computer. 407.6 hours a year on smartphones. 1,009.9 hours a year on radio. That is a combination of 3,607.5 hours per year of media. Divided by 24, which makes it, that's 150.3 days a year. That is 5 months out of the year. You and I are listening to media or watching media. 5 months. Complete months. 24 hours I'm talking about. So January, February, March, April, May. So right past my birthday, which is May 24, right past that, you can stop looking at TV. That's every day, 24 hours a day. 5 months of the year is media. 2,920 hours, guess what you did? You slept. That's 121.7 days a year. That's 4.1 months a year that you slept. Think about it. Five listening to the media, 4.1, we're at 9 months. I think you'd had your baby by then, after the time we watching the media and listening to it and sleeping. I guess that could be that we're sleeping as we're listening to it. How many of you go to bed with your TV on? Yes.
A man lives 75 years, has an 8-hour day, or 8-hour night of sleep. He goes to 75 years old, that means he can sleep 25 years.
Well, I got you covered. See, we're just like this. That's mini-me. Tell you, you don't know how many times we and him was walking. We were in the flea market one time. And our wives were there, and they were just waiting. We was going to go golfing. We was in the flea market, you know. And this old lady came by and said, "Well, you can tell those guys are twins." So if anybody says that Todd looks like me, he'll give you $50 for that. So tell him that. That's the honest to God truth. I'm telling you all that. He told one waitress at Sonny's, y'all remember the Sonny's twins, those big guys? Years ago, the commercial, we were sitting there eating, and Todd says, "Yeah, we're the Sonny twins." He was trying to get a discount. Well, give me a discount. Well, y'all are? Okay, well, let me. I had to just say, "We're not really." I didn't want our value to be that way, Todd. But he thinks like me when he's got good values. All right. He knows I love him. All right, you ready for this? 2,080 hours per year you're working. If you work 40 hours a week. So that means we work probably 52 hours a year. I'm kidding. That was a joke, all right? The other one was based on a 40. Listen to this. 86.7 days a year you work. That's 2.9 months of the year you work. if you work a 40 hours. I'm telling you this to show you, look at all the things and all the areas that can influence and dictate what your values are. All that time. Now, that doesn't mean that doing that thing makes it bad. But I'm here to tell you, it will influence what we value, good or bad. All right? I need to check my email for a second. I'm just kidding. I just want to make sure what time it was. It's 7:32. All right. Here we go. This is the big one. You ready? 182 hours per year. That's 7.6 days a year. If you come on Wednesday night and Sunday, that you're in the ecclesia. Did y'all hear that? If you come in the ecclesia every Wednesday and every Sunday, just say 2 hours on Sunday, hour and a half on Wednesday. I know you stay late or whatever. That's 182 hours per year. Oh, you're already complaining. Your values.
I'm here 3 hours on Sunday.
You should thank God for that. Because I know that's your values, right, Veronica Carr?
Yes, sir.
That's right. Veronica Truck Grove is what I call her. She's like my daughter from way back. She was about that big. Veronica Truck Grove. That's opposite of Carr, if y'all don't get that. 7.6 days. 7.6 days. 7.6 days a year. If you're here for 2 hours every Sunday and an hour and a half every Wednesday, that's how much you are here 24 hours in 1 year. 7.6 days. Think of that. Think of that. We got to have church again? Well, we're trying to make it 7.7 instead of 7.6. How about if we make it 10 days? Come on, let's say a little longer. So we're not going to go home tonight till midnight. So it'll be another day. Was there another day? 7.6. Think of that. I read it up here so I could see it better because I was getting to the end of my page. Listen to this, Todd. If you had a lifespan of 70 years, that's 839.9 months. That's 25,550 days. All right? Your media wound up being that you watched, if you lived to be 70 years old, was 10,521 days, 350.7 months, and 29.2 years that we listen or watch media. That's at 70 years. That's basically 30 years out of 70. Here we go. Ecclesia, every Sunday, every Wednesday. We do it 532 days in our 70-year lifespan. 17.7 months we're in the ecclesia if we lived to be 70. Now I'm talking about you coming to church the day that you're born. Okay? I'm not talking about when you get here at 40. All right? But guess what? Listen to this, ecclesia. If we lived to be 70, we came to church every single day for 70 years, that would be, for those hours, that would give us 1.5 years. Compared to 29.2 years of media. Think of that. I checked this over like 100. I know Sam, I'm not going to see him. You did it? Say it again. Shout it from the rooftops, baby.
Well, the one thing that I checked was right.
Oh, that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
It didn't sound right.
It's crazy. Trust me. I was like, that can't be. Divided by 24 to be the day. And I'm like, Jeez. So the important thing is, guys, if we're only here during that time, we've got to step up and take responsibility of what we're doing when we're not here. Or we're in trouble. Think of that. I think we're going to have a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday night services from now on. I can't. I'm listening to the media. Well, some of you could be watching it on Ustream. We can say that. But guess what? It ain't the same as you being here. I told somebody, she said, Pastor Joel, I watched you on Ustream. I said, well, that ain't fair. You got to see me, but I didn't get to see you. Neither did the person that uses sex next to you. You're robbing other people, not just yourself. You're robbing because our values will affect other people. So values are important. 1 John 2:15 through 16. Those are crazy stats, aren't they? So Todd, now you can say, if you go to church Sunday, 1.5 years. 1 John 2:15 and 16. Love not the world. Love not the world. Not just not the world, neither the things in the world. Well, I don't love the world. I don't love the earth, but I sure like everything that's in it. He added that too, just in case we got that for an excuse. If any man love what? Read the rest of it. That's a case closed. You have anything else to say? No, case is closed. There it is. Love not the world, neither the things in the world. If any man love the world, the love of the Father is not in him. Now, I'm not saying that we got to get rid of our cars and get a horse. Because guess what? The horse is in the world too. Okay? I'm not talking about you go sell everything you got. But let me tell you something. If there's something, like you said last week, that's maybe keeping you from walking in the things of God, that thing that you treasure, and it's not the thing. Remember I did the treasure thing? How the things of our flesh, this big treasure chest, and then the things of Yahweh is this little bucket over here. Okay. If we do that, get rid of it. Next verse. Bring it to the yard sale. Let somebody else get caught up in the world. For all that in the world, the what? Flesh and is what? How much black and white do you want that? Yeah, but what's he really saying in there? Right. But here, how many times have you heard of lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life? Do you remember the cares of life, the deceitfulness of riches? They're the triplet twins. Remember we taught that? They're triplet twins. Now let me show you this. That was written 2,000 years ago. Just say, okay? None of the world's values has changed. They're still the same after 2,000 years. They haven't changed. So we shouldn't be, man, I didn't know those were ways of the world. It tells us what they are. Worlds have three basic values in life. One is pleasure. These are the three P's. Pleasure. You know what that is? That's the lust of the flesh. Is that still up there? Leave that up there. That's the lust of the flesh. Pleasure. Fun, happy, good feeling. Oh yeah, everything's going great. And I understand that. But if we're doing it by these wrong values, it ain't real anyway. It's going to fade away and it's not going to fulfill us. Where we should have pleasure is in the things of God. We should have pleasure being with one another. We should have pleasure having fellowship, coming here, having fellowship, one encouraging one, talking about the things of God, getting together and having some men crying with each other because of the love for God and Yahweh and one another. Ladies, the same thing. Pleasure. Lust of the flesh. Here's the next one. Possessions. Lust of the eyes. How many of you remember the JCPenney catalog? How many of you ever gone to Bass Pro Shop? They got catalogs like that. This is about freshwater fishing. This one's saltwater fishing. This is bow hunting. This is deer gun hunting. This is muzzle load. This is fly fishing. Here. All these things that they're trying to do to dictate our values. Again, is there anything having that? No. But don't think that you've got to have that new thing that just came out and the one that you just bought came out 6 months earlier. Yeah, but it just ain't the same. I'm not saying don't have things. I hope you understand there's a balance in what I'm saying here. I'm saying we better check our values. Why is it that we got to have it? I got to have it. It's these things right here. Our possessions. I got to have it. Oh, look. Ads, flyers. They even come up on your phone. Ooh. Hey, Bass Pro Sale. Come on, everybody. Listen. Here's the next one. Here's the other P. Prestige. Made my whole body a weapon. Y'all know who that is. Prestige. You know what that is? Pride of life. I got to have it. Well, why do you got to have it? Because I want it. Well, why is it you want it? My daddy always said, son, ain't no sense in buying it. This is his excuse never to buy me anything, pretty much. And he won. He did buy me an album when I turned 16. It was a Boston album. Don't look back, a new day is breaking. So that's part of my value. I couldn't believe it. Pick out any album you want. So I got the one that wasn't on sale. I think it was $4.99 for the album. Still got it. More Than a Feeling and Don't Look Back. See, some of y'all know, some of y'all got good values. But I know you do. I got to have it because I'm going to look impotent. I ain't going to tell you a story about that. The joke about that, but that ain't our value. I want people, when they see me, I want them to say, man, that guy's got it together. And when I drive that new car or whatever it may be, I'm going to lean over, throw that wrist up there, be doing that, have that dice down there, and that little dog back there with his eyes blinking with his head bouncing like this. You put your brakes on, go. I saw something so funny, it was a prank. And I saw it on media, forgive me. But it was a guy who played a prank on his friend. And the guy was behind him videoing him. This guy had a real nice truck. And this guy was behind him. There ain't a whole lot makes me laugh out loud. This made me laugh out loud. He wired his brakes to his brake lights to his horn. Somehow every time he'd pull behind the guy, so he had to stop or he'd run into the guy. So this guy's in front of him like, will you keep going? The guy behind him's video is dying. I should have showed it to us tonight. But Doug, guy who wires horn to brakes, look that up on Ustream. On YouTube. But don't play it unless Holy Spirit leads us to. He's already told me. But here he is. This guy's like I don't know. He may say cuss words on it. I don't know if he does not. We better not. Just go home and look at it. And use some of that media. But read scriptures right after you do that. So he's got his blinker on. He goes to turn right. So he has to come to a stop. This guy. What's funny is the guy who did it behind him video was cracking up. I tell you what I did one time. I was in high school, and there's this guy who had this pickup truck, and he always played with his horns. He'd hit that air horn. Well, let me tell you what we did one time. Me and a couple of friends got into his hood. And all it is a compressor with hoses. And that thing's programmed to blow certain hose a certain way. So what we did, we took this hose off, put it on this one, took this hose off, put it on this. And it was a nice truck. He'd always, so he's like, after the day of school, he's like, now quit blowing that stinging horn every time you leave. He stopped immediately. If I could only do his brake lights with that horn, that would be perfect. All right. Let me get back to the spiritual things. All right. Not of this world. Let me see where I'm at here. Y'all didn't mess me all up. Okay, here we go. That is, the pride of life is when we got to have something to make us feel important. Or look at me, I'm successful. Well, big stinking deal. If you're successful about something, they ain't going to mount a hill of beans on that day. What good is it? So I'm encouraging us, don't get caught up in that, all right? Here we go. You ever heard this saying before? Buying things we don't need. Is anybody guilty of this? Sit down. You're all guilty. Buying things we don't need with the money we don't have to impress the people we don't know. That's having the wrong values. How are we supposed to look? The media bombards us with these values. How we're supposed to look, how we're supposed to dress, our hairstyle, our car, our house, what we have, what figure you're supposed to have. What? Well, if your hair ain't this way and you don't wear a size 6, well, you probably need to eat. Come on. Who says that that's the way? Don't you dare let somebody or some society or some system dictate who and what you're supposed to be. Only God's Word and Yahweh by His Spirit does that. Don't you let anybody give you that authority. And I'm not saying be a bum. You know, I drive it, and I'm not preaching this way because of what I drive. I really don't care. I could care less what I drive. And I hope it don't bring a reproach against Yahweh. Because I hope when they meet me, that's what will impress them, not what I drive. I got a 04 Nissan Sentra. I call it a Nassan because that's Nissan backwards. That my daughter gave me. It's got 250,000 miles on it. It needs a paint job. But guess what? I don't care. Now, Yahweh, if I'm wrong and if I'm bringing reproach on you, forgive me. I'll get that spray paint out and I'll fix it. But I don't care. I'm concerned about what Yahweh said. And I'm not saying you want to be a jerk. I don't want to say you don't care, but you really care, so you're so far from not caring, you really care. I'm not saying, trust me, I don't care. And if anybody wants to donate to where all my vehicles getting painted, no, I'm just kidding. It's got 250,000 miles on it. But guess what? I have no car payment. I got a 2001 Tundra. I got no car payment. 262,000 miles on it. It's still going. I thank Yahweh for it. And again, if there's a word of the Lord to me that I need to do something with it, you come tell me, but just make sure it's the word of the Lord. And then I expect you to bring the result through Him. I'm just kidding there. But I'm not trying to be a bum. I'm not trying to be, but let me tell you something. There's a whole lot of other things that I'm able to do. It ain't a whole lot, but when it's time to give, I'll give. I can't do it, Yahweh, because my values is I got an $800 car payment. That's not my value. You understand what I'm saying? Okay? So, again, I'm not trying to be a bum, but I'm just saying that really ain't value to me. I want to get from my house to the ecclesia. And that's really true. So, because I don't like going out of town anyway. So, all right, here we go. It'll get those things, those values that the world puts on you will get you off course and define what your value is instead of what God says your value is. Because bottom line, we don't put value on ourselves, so we think that somebody else has to put value in us. Let me tell you something. If no one ever validates you, Yahweh will. Don't you go kissing up trying to get validated for somebody to like you. Because let me tell you something. They'll like you one minute and turn around and hate your guts the next. I've seen it and experienced it. And it wound up being a real bad thing one time. my value went the other way. I jumped on his value. I said, okay, let's join the value train. It wasn't good. But it never happened again. Let's just say that. What's important? Go to Romans 12:2 if you would. Oh man, it's 7:52. And be not what? I can't hear you. To this world, but be ye what? Transformed. How? Let me tell you how to transform. Renew your mind. You ever heard that before? Imagine that. That ye may prove. I'm going to show you. I'm going to prove what God said. I'm renewing my mind, and I'm proof that God is God. I'm proof that He is my provider. I'm proof in all these things because I'm not going to live and have my value to things that are ungodly. I'm going to do whatever it takes, and if I got to lose everything, oh my gosh, and I have to take up my cross daily, oh my gosh, to please Him, I'll do it. I'll do it until it happens, and I'm like, it's like my wife was saying something one day. I think she had to work an extra shift, and she said, remind me why I put in for this extra shift. I said, okay, honey. So I gave her a kiss, and everything was good. That good and acceptable and what? Perfect. Will of Joel. I didn't say will of Joel, like will of Joel? No, will of God. Will of God. All right? What's important? We got to figure out what's important. Some of our values we didn't choose. They were passed down to us. Sometimes that's all we knew. They were given to us and handed down. How? From our sources. Remember we talked about that. I hope you remember after all those years and the months I went through for you. But now we know and have the opportunity through the gift of repentance to start afresh and anew. Thank you, Yahweh, that I don't have to be stuck with these values that I've lived in and lived my life according to. Now I've recognized it. I see it. You should go home and make a list of what's really valuable to you. And be honest with yourself. What we really put value on. And be honest. And say, well, that's wrong. Oh, boy. This is wrong. And let's repent from it and start our godly values and walk that out. Start afresh and anew. Here's one, spirit of poverty, how a man thinks of himself. I can't have. God wants to bless you. I can't have that. Just spirit of poverty. It's been handed down. Maybe from mom and dad, grandmama. Maybe from a Pentecostal church. We ain't supposed to have nothing. And I hope what you think I'm saying tonight is that. I am not saying that. I'm saying this. I've learned to be a base and I've learned to be abound. And bottom line, God is still God. Period. Most people wait for a crisis to all of a sudden get their values in line for a quick fix. When something happens, all of a sudden we're ready to sell everything. We'll get rid of everything. This will just happen. I'll get rid of it. I'll sell everything. I'll sell it all. But that really in our heart is just to get something else that we want that's more valuable than those things. You see what I'm saying? It's tricky. I'll get rid of it as long as I think I can get something more valuable that I like. You know what I'm saying? I need a miracle here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get rid of everything and impress God and say, see, God, now you need to answer my prayer. We're still missing the boat. Let me see here. Some of the things that quick fix, maybe we're having to go bankrupt. Maybe we're in the middle of divorce. Something that we put our value in that is of the flesh and don't produce the fruit of righteousness. A major sickness or even death to a loved one. We all of a sudden are willing to get rid of everything. I'll give it all away. It's like the guy who, and this actually happened in our church one time years ago at the old haunted house. The guy came up with a pack of cigarettes and put them on the altar. And this is what we told him. Don't put these on the altar and then tomorrow you go spend your hard-earned money on a carton of them. If that's an act of faith, do it. But don't do it just through the emotion of, I'll get rid of everything. And then we go into more debt after God answered our prayer. It can't just be, well, all of a sudden, our value's this all of a sudden. No, it ain't. Our value's still this. That's just something we need to value real quick so I can get out of this value to something better. You understand what I'm saying? And I hope you don't think I'm being negative. I'm not. This is very positive. What's important to me and you? This is where the area I was going to get to. Success is when we live out our values, whether they're godly or ungodly. Well, my values were things of the flesh. Well, depart from me, ye workers of iniquity. Where you were successful in the things that you valued. Or you could lay your life down and have the value of your life according to His word and His will. And He's going to say, well done, thy good and faithful servant. You were successful in your values. So it's vitally important. What are our values? Priorities. Heart's desire. Whatever you want to call it. I'm just using values for it. Our values are important. According to the word. Our life will change in alignment according to our values. If that's our values, we will align our life to get it. Godly or ungodly. Aligning and doing according to the word of Yahweh. That is the right way. I don't think I'm going to finish this, but give me just a couple minutes. It's 7:58. Listen to this. Hebrews 11, 24 through 29. I may end there. Hath in these days, last days, spoken unto us. Yeah, 11. It's 11. I didn't think that was right. 24 through 29. This is the faith chapter. Okay, here we go. By what? Faith, Moses, when he was come to years, what did he refuse? He refused it. When he found out the truth, he was not willing to put his value in something like that. What a dummy, huh? You may be Pharaoh. Look at this. Well, guess what? I may be Pharaoh. Well, that's value to me. I'm going to do everything. I'm going to talk like Pharaoh. I'm going to dress like Pharaoh. I'm going to do all these things to obtain what's valuable to me. But he knew there was something more valuable than even that. Is he stupid or what? Go to the next verse. Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God. What an idiot. He gave up the value of being a Pharaoh, the son per se of Pharaoh's daughter. Or what is it? Go back one. Yes. Son of Pharaoh's daughter. Because let me tell you what Moses walked in. He walked in what the truth was. Truth was, he was not the son of Pharaoh's daughter. His mama put him in a little ark and put him down the river. All right, go to the next one. Go to 25. Let me make sure I finish that one. Choosing rather to suffer affliction with the people of God instead of being Pharaoh maybe one day. Wow. Than to enjoy the pleasures, there's that pleasure, one of the P's, of sin for a season. Because sin's fun for a season. Well, it does great. Oh man, this sucks now. Oh my gosh, how did I get here? What happened? Where's everybody at? We're going to 29 real quick. Keep going. Esteeming the reproach of Christ. Esteeming the reproach of Christ greater riches than the treasures of Egypt. To have him is much greater than the riches that any kingdom can offer me on earth. Wow. Have you ever read that in that chapter? Think about it. For he had respect unto the recompense of the reward. Oh, I see this reward. It's great. Everybody thinks I'm great. That's wonderful. But that's going to come to an end, and it ain't going to amount to a hill of beans. I'm doing something that's more eternal. Keep going real quick. By faith, he forsook Egypt. That took faith, buddy. That took faith. Not fearing the wrath of the king. He may kill me. For he did what? He did what? He did what? As seeing him who is invisible. Keep going. Through what? He kept the Passover and the sprinkling of blood, lest he that destroyed the firstborn should touch them. Go to the last verse here. By faith they passed through the Red Sea by dry. What would have happened if Moses just would have said, oh man, this is too hard. I'm keeping my values right here. I'm going to be Pharaoh. What would have ever happened to the children of Israel? Which the Egyptians are saying to do were drowned. Is that the last one? I'm going to end there. I've just got a few more. I may, next Wednesday, just kind of finish this. It won't be long. And give you 3 other messages after that. I'm only kidding. But if our value, man, it's only 10:30. Man, that went by fast. If that's really our value, you understand what I'm saying? I'm not talking about keeping you that long. But think about the statistics. The years of this and the years of this. Whether it's this, whether it's this, or whether it's this. Think about it. Think about it. So it's important what we do, where our value is, not just when we come here, but when we're away from here. What are we going to do with all that time that may be taken? Media's not wrong, but if it's used wrong, it's wrong. But if it's used right, it's right. So let's be doers of this and keep this before you. Keep what happens here on Wednesdays and Sundays before you. Don't say, oh yeah, what happened? Well, that's why I want to keep reminding you. Renew your mind, renew your mind, renew your mind, renew your mind. Because we know that's how we please God. Don't forget about praying for Michelle. I just want God to show himself mightily. And whatever he wants to do it. Don't forget, pray for Wendy tomorrow. What time are you going to do that? At 9? Do this. Set your alarm at 8:58. 8:55. Give you 5 minutes to prepare. And at 9 o'clock, Ecclesia, why don't we come together and lift up our sister, part of the Ecclesia. It's tomorrow. It's tomorrow. So at 8:55, let that alarm come on. What am I supposed to do? Is it time to eat? No. We're doing what we're talking about doing in the Ecclesia. Let's be doers of it. And any other thing, if God puts someone in your heart, pray for them. Get in touch with them. Help them. They may be dealing with values, just like we may be dealing with values. We're here for one another. All righty? I love you. Goodbye, Ustream. All my friends.